A woman can hurt a good man and feel absolutely nothing in the moment. She can ignore his calls, dismiss his kindness, roll her eyes at his efforts, and still sleep fine at night, at least until the moment he stops reacting. That's when the shift happens, when his voice goes quiet, when the long explanations disappear. When the good mornings and good nights vanish without warning, it's like the ground beneath her moves. Most women are not used to valuing a man who is grounded, steady and consistently there. They don't hate it, it just doesn't feel urgent until it's no longer available. Modern dating runs on highs and lows, on constant stimulation, on drama disguised as passion. She's conditioned to associate unpredictability with excitement, so when you walk in carrying calm energy, loyalty, and presence, it feels foreign. She doesn't know how to settle into it, so she starts creating waves. She throws subtle jabs. She tests your patience. She withholds affection. She looks for a reaction. And because you care, you respond with more effort, more reassurance, more pursuit. That's when you start losing yourself, because you're fighting to save what she's quietly pushing away. But the moment you stop, that's the moment everything changes. Not when you snap, not when you beg, not when you plead for her to see your worth. It's when you simply go silent. When your energy, attention, and warmth vanish. That silence is louder than any argument, because it tells her something she didn't expect. You're done. Oh, she was prepared for you to stay through anything. She thought you'd keep playing the role she wrote for you. But when you step out of that role and walk away without fanfare, it breaks the script. And that's when regret starts to take root. Asterisk women don't regret hurting the man who begs for another chance. They don't regret hurting the man who keeps showing up after being disrespected, the man who ignores his own needs just to keep her happy. They regret hurting the man who takes that pain, that betrayal, and turns it into fuel. The man who transforms himself after heartbreak, not into someone cold and bitter, but into someone sharper, more disciplined, more focused. You stop chasing her, stop orbiting her world, and instead start building your own. Your body changes. Your mind changes. Your priorities shift. And in that process, you become a version of yourself she never thought you'd be. She tries to replace you, but no one else has the same calm strength, the same masculine stillness, the same ability to walk away when respect is gone. The men she runs to will bend for her moods, perform for her attention, and beg for her time. You don't, and that is the difference that keeps her thinking about you. What shakes her most is that you're not flaunting your life to get her attention. You're not playing games or posting to make her jealous. You've simply redirected your energy back into yourself. She sees it from a distance, how you've become harder to reach, less available, more rooted in your own mission. That quiet glow is what lingers in her mind, because it proves you were never desperate. You were choosing her. And now, you've chosen yourself. She realizes too late that she had a man who was loyal, grounded, and real, but she mistook his peace for boredom. She thought stability was something she could always come back to. Now she knows she can't, and that knowledge is what starts to haunt her. Asterisk, the real turning point comes when you stop asking, why did she do this to me? Start asking, what will I do with this pain? That's the shift from reaction to direction. You no longer play the role of the emotional caretaker, trying to soothe her moods or make sense of her contradictions. Instead, you step back, raise your standards, and decide you will no longer tolerate uncertainty, disrespect, or half-hearted effort from anyone. This isn't about becoming hard or bitter, it's about becoming clear. She expects you to stay emotionally tied to her, even if you're apart. She expects that the smallest breadcrumb, random hey, or thinking about you will be enough to keep you hanging on. That's the way most men respond, and that's what she's used to. But when you don't respond, when you don't even feel the pull anymore, she realizes something is different. You're not ignoring her to punish her. You're simply done. You've stopped giving her the emotional currency she once thrived on, and that's when her sense of control begins to slip. Your silence is louder than any argument because it carries a message she can't spin in her favor. Don't need you to feel whole anymore. Tells her you've outgrown the chaos, the drama, the cycle of highs and lows. You're no longer living in reaction to her behavior. You're living in pursuit of your own growth. That's what scares her, not that you're angry, but that you're indifferent. Because anger still means you care. Difference means you've moved on in a way she can't reach. And once she realizes she's been locked out of your emotional world for good, regret hits her in a way no argument or breakup speech ever could. Asterisk, her regret rarely shows up in grand gestures. It doesn't always come as a long, heartfelt text or a dramatic confession. More often, it's silent. It lives in the quiet moments when she's alone, scrolling. Seeing you treat another woman with the patience, affection, and respect she once had but didn't value. It stirs when she realizes that woman earned a tan she never did. She remembers the safety she felt with you, the way your presence made her feel grounded in a world that only wanted pieces of her. She recalls how you saw her beyond her looks, beyond the surface, when most only saw what they wanted from her. And she also remembers how she took that for granted, choosing ego, attention, and the illusion of more exciting options over the man who gave her something rare, peace. That's when the ache settles in. It's not because she misses the relationship itself, but because she misses the way she felt in it. She misses the stability that came from a man who showed up without games, who didn't need to compete for her. Attention, who made her feel safe enough to put the walls down if only she had chosen to. Now she sees what you've built without her. A life rooted in discipline, self-respect, and purpose. You didn't lash out. You didn't try to hurt her back. You just moved forward, quietly, intentionally. And that's the part that stings most. Not the loss of a boyfriend, but the loss of a future she could have had if she'd been ready. She sees it clearly. Now you didn't just walk away. You elevated. You became a version of yourself she can't reach anymore. And knowing she can't be part of that future is a weight she'll carry long after you've forgotten her name. Asterisk, when she hurt you, she thought she was closing a door. What she didn't realize was that she was opening the chapter of your rise. She didn't destroy you, she revealed you. Her betrayal forced you to rebuild, but this time with stronger walls, sharper vision, and higher standards. You became someone who can't be swayed by the same tricks, words, or games that once worked. Now she can't touch you, not with apologies, not with nostalgia, not with promises of change. You've stepped into the man who no longer negotiates his worth, who no longer lowers his boundaries for temporary comfort. You loved deeply, you got hurt, and you chose to grow instead of crumble. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need her to admit she was wrong. You just needed distance and the discipline to keep walking forward. And in that walk, you became exactly what she can't find again. She knows now that she lost a man who never would have left if she had respected him. A man who was loyal by choice, not by necessity. That's the regret she can't shake, not just losing you, but knowing she had something rare and didn't protect it. While she replays old memories, you're living in a future that doesn't include her name or her presence. You've built a life where your value isn't tied to anyone's approval, especially hers. That's the victory, not that you moved on, but how you moved on, with clarity, with purpose, without looking back. You've become untouchable because you understand now that peace is the prize, and you'll never again hand it to someone who doesn't honor it. And that truth, more than anything, is what will haunt her long after you've forgotten the sound of her voice.